Joining me now is California's Attorney General, Rob Bonta. Thank you for being with us tonight, Attorney General Bonta. To start, your state is certainly no stranger to natural disasters, from fires to earthquakes. But these wildfires have devastated Los Angeles in unprecedented ways. What have been your thoughts as this disaster has unfolded?
You're absolutely right, Reverend. Unprecedented natural disaster, and a disaster is happening throughout LA County, and my thoughts are with the victims, those who've been displaced, whose lives have been turned upside down, those who've lost family members have my deepest sympathies, those who've lost their homes, their belongings, who are trying to rebuild and heal and recover. They have my condolences and my thoughts, and also my official 1000% support. It's a time to come together, to lock arms, to unify, to lift up those who've been harmed, to be one California, strong, resilient, and immovable. This has knocked us down, but it has not knocked us out. And we will come back strong. We'll get services and resources to those who need them. We will help those who are trying to recover. We will contain and put out these fires, and we will rebuild. So my thoughts are with the victims, and 1000% committed to the recovery and working together. And we're seeing the help from President Biden to our incredible governor and state leaders, our legislature, our supervisors, our city leaders, all working together as we should at this time for the benefit of those who've been impacted by the fires.
But I have to bring up, unfortunately, disasters like this can bring out the best in people, but also the worst. You held a news conference this weekend where you warned your office will be cracking down on looters and price gougers. We've heard reports from LAPD about burglars dressed as firefighters. What are you seeing so far in regards to criminality connected with these fires?
Reverend, it's terrible. I have to tell you, it's hard to see. It's unimaginable that people could see these victims who have lost everything, whose lives have been turned upside down, and see a target, someone to prey on, someone to exploit, someone to victimize again through price gouging or through looting or through scams and frauds. I will say, I think that spirit of togetherness, helping our neighbors, lifting each other up, being focused on us and we instead of I and me is prevailing. But as in other disasters, this disaster is not unique in the sense that we're seeing some of the worst in people coming out too. And to them, we're saying the rule of law will be strictly enforced. We are cracking down on these practices of scams and looting and price gouging, and we will hold you accountable. We're seeing some prices, getting reports of prices over the 10% increase. That is the maximum, the ceiling that a price can be increased on essential goods under Penal Code 396 in California. And to those who are raising those prices contrary to the law, you will be held accountable. These are crimes, and you don't want to be committing crimes and being held liable for that. We're also seeing lots of different scams. Unfortunately, when people are vulnerable and seeking services, they are often willing to listen to promises, even if they're false promises about services that they can get, housing they can get. So beware of folks who are promising you housing, or a contractor who is telling you they will help you rebuild, or someone who will provide to you government services that are free, who are asking for an upfront payment. That is a huge red flag. When they want an upfront payment, they might take your payment and you'll never see any of the services that you promised. Wow. To those who have good hearts and want to help give to a charity, go to my website to make sure it's a charity in good standing that will actually provide the services that you're hoping it will provide. So there's a lot of ways to protect ourselves, but yes, unfortunately, we are seeing some bad misconduct in some of the bright lights of hope and optimism that we see as well.
Now, let me bring this up. The FBI says they are investigating a double-digit number of unauthorized drone flights over wildfire areas, including one that hit a Super Scooper firefighting plane. The Bureau has released photos of the fist-sized hole in the left side of the aircraft, putting it out of commission for 3 days. Law enforcement officials say these flights fall mostly into 3 categories: clueless, criminal, or careless. What's your message to drone operators in Southern California right now?
Take your drones down out of the impacted areas, out of the disaster areas. Let the firefighters, the first responders, these are heroes who are risking their lives and their health to save our lives, our health, our property. Let them do their job. Get out of the way. Do not interfere. Take your drones down. There'll be a time and a place where you can put them up. That is not in the disaster areas right now. So this is a time when we can help each other, sometimes by getting out of the way, sometimes by giving a helping hand, donating to charities. There's a lot of ways to help. So find the one that works for you. But do not prey on those who are hurt and are reeling and have already been victims of a natural disaster. And don't interfere with those who are trying to address the disaster, our first responders and others who are heroes.
Now, before I let you go, the incoming president has promised mass deportations on day one of his administration, including workplace raids and family separations. Trump and his border czar, Tom Homan, have also threatened to go after any state or local officials that don't cooperate sufficiently with their efforts. Are you concerned about what will happen if the new administration tries to implement its immigration crackdown in a devastated area like Los Angeles in just a matter of days or weeks?
We're very concerned. We've been monitoring and planning and preparing for the possibilities. We've been listening closely to Trump, his inner circle, Project 2025, about what they intend to do when it comes to mass deportations. They're unimaginable. They're inhumane. They are not who we are, and we take them at their word. So, of course, we will always follow the law. That's our North Star. And we have 10th Amendment state rights to focus our resources on actual state crimes and holding those accountable who have committed state crimes and not be involved in immigration enforcement activities. And that is what the state of California's law requires. So this would be going after those in the disaster area. The Trump administration with immigration enforcement would be, in my view, taking advantage of those who are reeling and struggling, but I don't put it past them, and we'll be ready for any scenario. Immigrants have rights, Californians have rights. The idea that U.S. citizens will be deported, that due process rights will be violated, that the military will be placed on American soil to be part of a mass deportation machine is something that's hard to imagine, but these are all things that they're talking about. So if they violate the law and following the law and the rule of law is our North Star, we will take them to court and we will stop them.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta, thank you for being with us tonight.